We are looking at the 3D transformations in computer graphics. First, we'll start with the translation. In a three-dimensional homogeneous coordinate representation, a point is transformed, say, from location P to sublocation P dash. P is represented by x, y, z, and P dash is the translated point, that is x dash, y dash, and z dash. This is the new position of this translated P. This can be written like this. If you have a point x, y, z, P, and you want to translate it to say x dash, y dash, z dash, new location, this space, the translation vector is given by tx, ty, tz. That is translation with respect to x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. And this is similar with the 3D objects also. If it is a 3D object, all points will be translated, and the expression will be given by every x will be translated to tx. We add them, and this is a new location. Y will add up with ty, that is the y-axis translation, y dash, and then z will be added with the tz, that is the translation with respect to z-axis, z dash. This is the homogeneous matrix representation of the translation. And you know why we introduce this homogeneous? Just we want to decrease the computation, a lot of matrix multiplication we want to reduce, and when we are trying to do this transformation in sequence, like some translation, rotation, therewise. So these are very easy and possible with the introduction of this homogeneous, and also this homogeneous value will define the infinite. In natural terrain, you see there is a point which is infinite. So you need to observe certain things. First of all, the translation vectors tx, ty, tz are on the fourth column. This is the first, second, third, and fourth. These are on fourth column, tx, ty, tz, and all the diagonals of this matrix, translation matrix, they are unit, that means 1. This is how you form tx, ty, tz here, and 1 in the diagonal. And the initial matrix by which this translation has to be done has to be written on the right side. So this is the multiplication of the translation matrix. This is called the translation matrix, and this is your original vector. You multiply them, and then you get the translated points. That is, if this is P dash, this is P, and this is translation matrix, we can write it as P dash is equal to T into P, where the parameters tx, ty, and tz, they specify the translation distances from the coordinate directions x, y, and z, these three, and are assigned any real values. This is also to be considered. Now we come to the rotation. Let me show you how we rotate. See, if I have this point, I want to rotate it, say, to this location. Not translation, but if this is, say, our phi, and this is our theta, and this is our point P. So by the relation of cos and phi and sine with respect to this triangle, if this vector is, say, r, what is this? This is r cos phi, this is r sin phi, and with respect to this vector, this area, this line is r cos theta plus phi, and this line is r sin theta plus phi. With these relationship, we can easily find out how the translation matrix will be. And the rotation, if this is x, so this is y, this is z, the rotation can be around x-axis, z-axis, or either y-axis. If the rotation is around z-axis, then the matrix would be, this is the translated cos minus sine cos. Please understand, wherever you use this, cos into cos, that is cos square theta, plus sine into sine, minus is there, square it will be, that is sine square theta. Always please remember, cos square theta and this is sine square theta, it should come to follow the relationship which we implied here. So this is cos theta minus sin theta cos theta in the upper left position for z-axis. Of course x, y, z, 1 is there, and others are followed by the diagonal is followed by 1, 1. And please remember that the cos will come in the diagonal. So cos, sine will be of opposite side, sine, and this is minus sine. In terms of x-axis rotation, like if you want to rotate around x-axis, then the cos will remain like this. It will change the position, these values, and the values will remain same, just they will find their position at this location for the x-axis rotation, right? And cos will always remain in the diagonal, others would be 0. And if you want to rotate it in y-axis, say this is your x, y, and z different rotation I have shown. The cos again in the diagonal, so cos, but minus sine will come here now, and sine will go there. And when you combine this, if you literally multiply these two, you will get this relationship. Rotation when parallel to one of the coordinate axis, in special cases where an object is to be rotated about an axis that is parallel to one of the coordinate axis, we can obtain the desired rotation with a certain sequence. We translate the object so that the rotation axis coincide with the parallel coordinate axis. Let us say x-axis. We perform the specified rotation about the axis, and then we again retranslate it. Means first we translate it to some point, or most of the time the origin. Then we rotate it, and then we translate it back again to the position from where we bought it. Like this. Okay, any coordinate position P on the object is transformed like this. T inverse Rx theta and T, and this is your linear matrix. And when the composite matrix of the transformation, this R theta is given by T inverse Rx theta T, which I just said, this is the composite matrix, and this is how you rotate. So this is the original position of the object. Say we rotate the object through the triangle 3 theta, and before that what we do, the original position of object is this. We translate the object axis onto the x-axis, and then we rotate object through angle theta, and then we translate the rotation axis to the original position like this. This is how we do. In scaling, the matrix expression for scaling means increasing or decreasing the size. So for the matrix expression for the scaling transformation of say P point P related to a coordinate origin can easily be represented by x dash, y dash, z dash, p. And this is our p dash. This was our original vector p, and this is our scaling matrix s. So sx, sy, sz, and 1. So in the diagonal we have sx scaling. This is scaling with respect to x, y, and z, and this is of course 1. So the matrix representation for an arbitrary fixed point, say xf, yf, zf, now can be represented. This will remain same, but for any arbitrary fixed point, if you say xf, yf, zf, then this will be 1 minus sx here, 1 minus sy here, 1 minus sz multiplied by the arbitrary location xf, yf, and zf. So what we do here is, when we scale, first we take this value, take this object, bring it to this position, scale it, and then transfer it back from where we bought it. Then comes the reflection. The matrix expression of the reflection transformation of a position P related to say xy plane is written by 1, 1, and you use minus 1 here, 1. This is about xy plane. So the transformation matrix for inverting xy values are defined similarly. If you use this yz plane, see in xy plane you use minus 1 here. For yz plane you will use -1 here. For xz plane, you use -1 here. Now shears. Shear is something like this, like pressing. So you pressed it and this shape became this shape. So the matrix expression for shearing transformation of any point P to produce z-axis shear can be written as, now these are the shear values. All diagonal will be 1. This will be A and B, right? About the z-axis. So you wrote A, B not on the row which is corresponding to z, but on AB here. So parameters A and B can be assigned any real values. The effect of the transformation is to alter the x and y coordinate value by a certain amount that is proportional to the z value while leaving the z coordinates unchanged. Shearing transformation for the x-axis and y-axis can be defined similarly. This was a basic idea about the 3D transformations in computer graphics. Thank you so much.